the reason why video games don't feel like they used to, or why going outside, the simple task of just going outside just doesn't feel the same, is partly because of just growing up. That's kind of how it is. When we grow up and kind of get indoctrinated by the real world and the outside world, we take on more responsibilities, and we kind of just figure out that there are things that take priority over the little smaller, I guess, instant gratification type tasks that we can indulge in, like just playing video games, or even something like as simple as just going outside. Even though I think going outside is massively valuable even as you grow into an adult, and same thing with like exercising, stuff like that. I think it's more or less just the responsibility part added on top of things. People always say that, when you grow up as an adult, you get all the responsibilities, and then you kind of just wish that you could go back to when you were a kid and have no responsibilities. And I think that's true in some senses, especially as people age and they've been an adult for a long ass time. I could see how they'd want to long and return back to the sense of freeness and the freedom that comes with just being a kid. But there's also something definitely valuable, and there's something beautiful as well about responsibility. As you take on more responsibility, that's something to appreciate as well, instead of just always demonizing it and saying how it kind of ruined your childhood and ruined your experience of growing up. So I think the great thing about responsibility is that it's kind of something that you can treat more or less as your own. When you have no responsibilities and you're kind of just being more or less susceptible to the impulses that you feel, and you're kind of just going based on the emotions that you're feeling in the moment, rather than sitting back, taking some time to take into account the responsibilities that you have, responsibilities to yourself, to your family, to your friends, etc., to your community. That's what happens when you grow up. You get those higher level responsibilities, which for one can be viewed as a bad thing, I guess, if you don't enjoy having to be held accountable for some of those things. But I think it's great because you're able to kind of own something, right? You can own a community, not necessarily that you own it in the sense that it's your own community, but in the sense that it's something you're a part of, that you contribute to, that you bring value to, and you have other people that value and benefit from your existence or from your participation in this community. Same thing with a family. Your family members benefit from your participation and contributions to the family unit. And that's definitely something that's great. You can take that into your own hands and more or less mold it to how you want it to be, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, having the personal responsibility of other things is what makes us, and being able to decipher what kind of takes priority, as sad as that kind of sounds, that you have to choose the personal responsibilities of like going to work or doing your taxes instead of just being able to be like a kid and go for a walk or go for a bike ride whenever you want. But it's also on a deeper level the sense that we can kind of pick and choose what takes priority in our lives. That is the thing that makes us different than animals, right? Animals, their highest priority is to survive, and they will follow whatever impulses that their body and their mind is telling them in order to uphold that mission and that purpose of staying alive. So, a squirrel in this forest can't really decipher. He won't be able to say, hey, I'm gonna go like work out today so I can improve my my squirrel jumping abilities or my squirrel lifting abilities. They can't really make those decisions. The decisions that they make are, hey, we need to survive today. What are we going to do? We're going to go out, we're going to go search for some acorns, we're going to go plant them and bury them in the ground or stash them away in our tree stash, So their priorities are different than what we have, and their responsibilities are different as well. We can take on a greater sense of responsibility and ownership for the things that we have, which is, in my eyes, definitely a great thing. And that's why when we go back to the whole video game thing, or when we go back to just operating as a kid when we're adults, it just doesn't feel the same, because you are aware and you have taken on more responsibility in your life. And even so, who would want to be an adult kid anyways, right? That has no sense of like discrimination in terms of their priorities, and they just go chasing after like a baby, after what they think is right in the moment and what they feel they need to do, and they just are a victim to their impulses. I don't think that's something that you'd want anyways. So there's, not saying that being an adult, I'm sure, is all rainbows and butterflies, because I bet it's not, and I haven't yet to scratch the surface of what that even is or what that even entails. But I think that, you know, it's important to be optimistic for the future and to look for the good sides rather than always just, you know, shitting on the responsibility aspect and being like, oh, growing up as an adult sucks. So just wanted to have like a little mental reminder that taking on more responsibility can be a good thing, and also explain a little bit why the things that we used to do as kids, they don't really feel the same as they used to. So I think that's going to be the video for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember to stay on target.